Welcome to episode 4 of this match analysis series. We're going to be looking at Duncan Howard's last match that he won in the Nova Open top card. But without further ado, let's take a look. On the Rebels side, we have Gina Moonsong SL, Braylon Stram SL, Gemma Sojan SL, Kia Venzi with Vectored Cannons and Duke, and Wedge Achilles SL. So, intro to lists. We've covered everything from Empire to the Twins and Rebels and Wedge. So we're just gonna skip straight to the A-Wings. So looking at Gemma Sojan, it's quite powerful, obviously, SL card, but it comes with the standard things you expect from an A-Wing, where like shooting at is objectively most of the time a completely wrong decision. And if you only shoot one ship into it and you don't full commit, it's gonna be a completely terrible shot. And when there's other things like large ships and X-Wings that roll only 2 dice, you should definitely pick a different target, but let's explain it. While defending, you may gain 1 strain token to change up to 2 of your blank results to eye results. So if you shoot at it at all with a single shot, the focus is guaranteed to be 2 evades, which is just absolutely insane. So yeah, 100% do not want to do that, right? It's got vectored cannons, so you're going to see some red boosts. But interesting with this one, you can rotate your indicator back or front. So you got It's a Trap, more like re-rolls. But you'll never really see probably this ship in formation, so it won't really be relevant. Precision tuned cannons. So this gives you like a shot that you can rotate your indicator to the back and just fly past people and get shots in. So that's quite cool. But one thing that's relevant is like your front bullseye adds a focus result. So you land your bullseye. That's basically 2 dice guaranteed a focus for 3 hits possibly. So, and then chaff particles. If you don't actually attack Gemma and remove his focus, he's gonna be able to remove a stress. So that's the punishment. And then target assist is interesting. Before you engage, if you have no green tokens and there are 1 or more enemy objects in your firing arc, gain a calculate token. So this just promotes a more like boosting playstyle. Just literally boosting and barrel roll playstyle. Guaranteed to get at least 1 green token. But pretty standard stuff from A-Wing. Decent firepower possibly, but it's a bit hopeful to line up your bullseye. Initiative 2. But don't shoot it or you're gonna have a waste of a shot. And then looking at Kia, we covered it briefly as well. Just an A-Wing with a force, takes an evade, literally never dies, never do any real damage to it. And instead of ion missiles and Lone Wolf, got Duke instead, which basically means you take an evade, you change their evade result to an eye result. So it's debatable if that's better than ion missiles, but it makes it tankier, right? Because if you want to make most of it offensively, then you have to take an evade. But let's dig into the match, the deployment. The scenario is salvage mission. A ship at range 0 to 1 may spend an action to pick up a salvage token. Once a ship is holding a salvage token, it can no longer perform boosts or barrel rolls. At the start of the end phase, each player earns 1 point for each salvage token on a friendly ship card. So looking at the asteroids, quite obviously extremely cluttered, which on the Empire side is not really too much of an issue. Why? Because Tom X is obviously going to find it very easy barrel rolling and stuff in the center to get everything that he wants. And Darth Vader obviously more than enough mobility, small base as well, can easily adapt. But one thing that looks like a struggle is actually the Gina and Brayla. Those are two ships that I want to get really strong, you know, together. But it's not in a balanced manner like Mauler and Backstabber. These things don't have to be in a side arc of each other, like left or right. As long as you're within the massive range of range 2, you're still going to enjoy all your bonus actions for being stressed and stuff. So, but it's still going to be interesting watching Pete keep these ships together, because objectively, if he separates it and misses one or two triggers from them being separate, it's objectively wrong, right? You're just losing out on actions. So that's going to be fascinating. Not quite sure which one's which on the A-Wing side, I won't lie to you. But either way, nothing really too much to say. One thing's for certain, we've seen Jendon and Captain Feroff go up against Luke Skywalker, Han Solo. So an A-Wing and Wedge doing the heavy lifting is not the most terrifying thing on Earth. So it definitely looks like it's going to be like heavily won on the left side, I feel. Not going to be too much of an issue. One thing to worry about is the A-Wing going really fast and blocking Jendon's chief engineering prog. Because if you don't get to finish your movement, even if you do a free or fast movement, you won't get a free log. So that's something in my eyes that I'm really going to be thinking about as taking this joust. But I feel like with Darth Vader, if he just goes free bank, or he's probably going to do free straight and then choose the barrel roll which side. But I definitely feel like I can outmaneuver these B-Wings, and they look kind of separated as well. And Tom X is most likely going to be able to like really get a free plasma torpedo, so it looks good. But if Darth Vader somehow messes up, it's going to be massive damage and a massive swing. Because obviously, the whole selling point of these ships, right? If you joust with them and you go blow for blow, they have more health, they have the damage, they have the mod, so they're going to lose every time, regardless of luck. But yeah, nothing really too much to say on the point spread. Pretty standard stuff for crates. Nothing. They're all quite spread out. Both flanks will be able to enjoy them. But without further ado, let's dig into the match. Empire wins the initiative. Gemma does a 5 straight into focus. Captain Feroff does a 1 straight, then coordinates Colonel Jendon to do a barrel roll to the left, linked into stressful evade. The stress gets turned into a strain from push the limit. Kyo does a 5 straight, then takes an evade. Braylon does a 3 straight into focus. Tom X does a 2 hard, then barrel rolls to the left. Gina does a 3 straight, then barrel rolls to the left. Darth Vader does a 3 straight, takes a target lock onto the rock, spends a force to barrel roll to the left. Colonel Jendon does a 5 straight, gets a free target lock from Chief Engineering onto Kyo, then takes a focus. Wedge does a 4 straight, then simply takes a focus. Rebels wins the initiative. Gamma does a 2 hard into focus. Looking like a 1 hard actually. Kyo spends a force to do a 2 side slip, then picks up a crate. Captain Ferof does a 1 bank, then coordinates Jendon for an evade. Braylon does a free straight, then picks up the middle crate. Gina does a free straight and picks up a crate. Tomix does a free bank and does barrel roll for full mods. Wedge fits a very tight 2 bank into focus. Jendon does a free bank. Gets a free toggle up from Chief Engineering, then uses computer assisted handling for the 1-time free barrel roll out of Wedge's APT, and then simply takes a focus. Darth Vader does a 5 straight, then does afterburners to the right, taking a toggle up on Braylon, spending a force for a focus. Wedge shoots into Jendon, dealing no damage but getting Jendon's evade. Darth Vader spends his focus into Braylon, dealing hit crit, forcing Braylon to drop his crate. Jendon keeps his focus against Wedge, spending only his lock, and manages to do hit crit. Jendon rolls 4 dice into Wedge, spending a shield for an extra dice at range 2. Spends only his lock, keeping his focus to do hit crit. Tomax shoots into Kyo, managing to steal both shields with the plasma torpedo. Captain Ferof rolls into Kyo. 2 successes versus Kyo's effective blanked because the ship picked up a crate instead of getting any green tokens, going down for 3 points. Gemma rolls range free 2 dice into Jendon and manages to pick up a shield. Round 2 conclusion. You can really see the pain of, false objective play patterns. From the videos I'm watching of Duncan Howard and just in general, like, when it comes to like spending an action to interact with objectives, it's more of a 1v1 flanker versus flanker thing. But if you do it in a jousting situation where it's like multiple ships versus multiple ships, it doesn't matter if you're an A-wing. If you decide to not get a token and instead pick up or interact with objective, you will get blown to smithereens, or at least take heavy amounts of damage. And yeah, I think he died to the last Captain Ferof shot, so it just shows you how important it is. Because obviously Kyo would be able to do a lot more than pick up that objective this match. But looking at the other side, even though Rebels lost the engagement that hard to 3 ships, it's going to be very hard for the flanking ship to make it, towards the center and punish, this big jousting squad, or get some decent, triggers or something. But obviously with Braylon and Gina, the asteroids make Braylon completely unable to, 2 hard in, 3 hard in. I mean, we might see it. Actually, it might be feasible to do a 3 hard right here, or 2 hard. Probably not a 2 hard. But it's going to be extremely levels of difficult to turn in. And that, I think, if you're going to play it like this, I think it's definitely A-wing on the flank versus Darth Vader, and then really utilizing the standard loadout, for 9-point joust with a Wedge. That would 100%, if you just fly forward, you're going to get results. Rebels wins the initiative. Braylon drops a proton bomb to the right. Gemma does a 2 bank and simply focuses. Captain Ferrith does a 2 straight and picks up the crate. Braylon does a 2 hard, then links it into barrel roll stress focus. Gina does a 2 bank and simply focuses. Tomax does a 1 straight, removing his strain, then takes a target lock onto Wedge. Wedge crashes into Captain Ferrith, taking a stress focus. The brutal but effective 4K from the TIE Defender. Range 1 of Gamma in the bullseye. Target lock on Wedge, just does a normal boost to arc dodge Gamma. Darth Vader with a 2 hard. Barrel rolls towards the bomb, not afraid of taking damage from a crit because he has shields. Then spends force to perform additional actions of focus target lock onto Wedge. So all 4 of the Empire's ship rolled into Wedge, and Wedge died. But obviously being Initiative 6 didn't get Initiative killed, but he only managed to do 2 whole damage to Tomax. No other shots for the Rebels. Empire destroyed a ship worth 5 points and has 1 crate, so 9 points. Rebels only controls 1 crate, goes to 2 points. The score is 2-9. So as predicted, it's not quite going well for Rebels. Obviously the B-Wings are really being hurt by not being able to spend 9 points worth of shots and standard loadout. Not a single shot they've done really for the most part, perhaps there was one. Darth Vader with the turn in. The bomb really did not make him afraid of anything. Barrel rolls to get the unobstructed shot. But I feel like the main, even with the A-Wing blown up in front of him, Kia, there's definitely some things that could have went better. For example, Gamma was not able to deny the obvious 4K. But it is decently scary, but it's good to call out, I think, to just say that he's going to do 4K and just block him with a boost or something, or a barrel roll. If Wedge was able to, I'm not quite sure if I remember he has a boost or something, but I definitely know he has like a barrel roll. Should have predicted that Captain Ferrith would be going forward somewhat and try and arc dodge. Because remember, even if the game looks violently terrible, if a chase starts going against Wedge at Initiative 6, eventually these bombers are going to come around and start putting in some work. And obviously, chasing and shooting to A-Wing is extremely negative value. But another thing that I also find quite a bit strange is the stress focus enhance a shot with Gino. But I feel like if Vader goes like 1 bank to the right, maybe Gino doesn't even get a shot right. So I'm not quite sure about it. And the reason why I'm not sure about the stress is it's going to be very difficult for Braylon to turn around. And it's going to make doing the job of turning in even more harder. Another thing that was strange is the point grabbing. I guess, yeah, Gina already had a crate, so I guess that's fair enough. But I definitely don't think this is the best play pattern. Empire wins the initiative. System phase, Gamma does a vectored cannons boost to the left. Stressful. Gamma then does a 1 hard blue into focus. Captain Ferrith fails an ailerons boost to the left. Does a 1 bank to the right. If the 1 bank If the alien's boost connected, they would have been able to jam Gemma. Coordinates Tomax to do a linked action of barrel roll into stressful target lock onto Gemma. Braylon does a 2 bank, clearing the stress and picking up the crate. Tomax does a 2 bank into focus. Gina does a 1 bank into focus. Jendon does a 3 bank and then boosts to the left. Target lock is on Gemma. Darth Vader does 3 bank, then barrel rolls to the left and spends 2 force to do focus target lock onto Gemma. Darth Vader shoots a fully modded shot range 1 into Gemma. Gemma gets 3 evades, changing up to 2 blank results to focus results from the ship ability, but gains 1 strain, making Tomax shot more lethal. So takes a shield. Jendon shoots, unfortunately not a proton cannon shot, but a primary, and gets no damage by a focus. So Gemma on 3 health gets shot at by Tomax with a fully modded plasma torpedo. Dies to 3 successes to his 1 evade. Round 4 conclusion. So as expected, you know, Gemma got chewed on. Every angle covered. It was kind of rough for Gemma. If he was able to keep his, if he was only to lose shields from Darth Vader's attack, then he would have been able to use chaff particles to get rid of Tomax's lock, extremely reducing, you know, the incoming damage. So that's a bit unlucky, but if you get a range 1 shot on Darth Vader, you're probably gonna die to the next shot coming. But yeah, as expected, this is quite horrible. Only got the B wings left. Got to try and keep it honest. Still a lot of loadout and a lot of ability. But once again, the pain of them just not having any type of engagement. Empire controls 1 crate, Rebels controls 2 crates. Score is 4-13. Empire wins the initiative. Captain Feroff does a 1 bank, then coordinates Jendon to do a boost to the left. Braylon does a 1 Talon stress. Tomax does a 3 hard and picks up the crate. Gina does a 2 hard into focus. Jendon does a 4K, target locks Gina, and then does a barrel roll to the left. Darth Vader does a 3 hard, then barrel rolls to the right. Braylon shoots into Jendon and gets 1 shield. Jendon rolls into Gina, spending the target lock, and only gets 1 shield. Gina shoots into Captain Feroff and gets 2 shields. Round 5 conclusion. Empire is just going to wrap this up right. Darth Vader is looking towards picking up a crate, finally, late game. But it makes sense for him to do that. And it's just interesting to see how, you know, once you do reach that late game point, now your ships can take crates, even if they like taking boosts and barrel rolls. But yeah, if I had to think, I was thinking Gina would do more of like a K turn rather than turning in towards. Got a shot out at Captain Feroff and did some damage, but it's not really going to be relevant. Whereas if you somehow catch Colonel Jendon, perhaps with a proton torpedo or something. But yeah, cutscene. Rebels wins the initiative. Aurelians boost to the right with Captain Feroth, and then a simple one-bank maneuver to the right, trying to block Gina. Coordinates Jendon to do a barrel roll to the left. Braylon does a 1 straight, then takes a target lock onto Captain Feroth. Gina does a 2 hard and stress focuses onto Captain Feroth. Bump. Tomix does a 4 straight and takes a target lock onto Braylon. Darth Vader does a very tight 3 hard, then uses afterburners, then picks up the objective after boosting to the right. Spends a force to do target lock focus onto Gina. Colonel Jendon does a 3 straight, perfectly primed range 1 with a target lock focus onto Gina. 3 Empire ships shoot into Gina, and Gina dies. 1 range 1, 1 range 0, 1 range 2. Winning Empire the game. So Empire has 3 objectives and killed a ship worth 5 points, bringing up to 23. And Rebels only has 1 ship remaining with 1 crate, bringing up to 7. So 7 to 23, Empire wins. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you to the Gold Squadron podcast for providing this stream of this top cut. And yeah, thank you to everyone who's watching this channel. Be sure to like and subscribe, as a new channel is extremely motivating, and I love making this content and trying to improve as a player. And without further ado, take care.